How's it going, everybody? This is iNet Coder. Thanks for joining us once again. We have some breaking information coming right at you. We're delivering another great Quniverse news edition. So at this point, let's go ahead and just jump right in, and we'll get over to the rest of the team. Okay. Okay, right now we're up live recording, and we're going to take it over to Spectre.
Thanks. Welcome to Quniverse News. This is Volume 2, Monday, March 26, 2018 edition. Starting off, lead headline today is Mad About the March 4 of Our Lives. Jumping right in, we get to John Bound's presentation here on the exploitation and lopsided media coverage of the March for Our Lives. If you want, folks, you can click on the link right there and take a look at his few-minute piece right there. Next up, we've got a little piece here on Craigslist, the backdoor channels in which we tend to find our friends who spontaneously pop up. Yeah, right. $300 to participate in the March for Our Lives. Yeah, we found you. And we've got Joe Saunders here from Conservative Tribune reporting pro NRA students attacked at school. Drops attacker like a sack of, well, you get the idea. And of course, we've got a tweet here from Maverick. It says, hey, we've got the secret audio obtained by Laura Loomer exposing the March for Our Lives as a Democratic funded anti Second Amendment NRA hate Trump fest. Thank you, Giffords PAC, that is secretively dodging law enforcement. They were denied a permit for the march, but got one for a rally, storming the White House still. And to top it all off, we've got our former Pennsylvania senator calling on student protesters to learn CPR. That's a fairly good idea. It sure would be nice if they, rather than spending the time to go out and march, they learned something useful. And jumping over to our friend, Mr. David Hogg, who continues to be in the news, we've got a couple of videos here where he's at the March for Our Lives on DC on the 24th here. And then, of course, we've also got Millennial Millie from InfoWars on gun grabbers triggered by their own stupidity. Take a look at them, folks. Over to you, Tenacity.
Thank you, Spectra. And in the strange but odd news, we have a report that actually came in from Express that there's an orange snowstorm that was reported in 4 countries. They actually reported a freak weather incident. In the freak weather incident, it has struck at least 4 countries, turning white snow into eerie orange shade that has left residents terrified about the cause. Cities around Russia, Ukraine, Bulgaria, and Romania have reported the bizarre orange snow phenomenon, videos of which have quickly gone viral. Tourist destinations, including ski resorts, have blanketed by orange snow, and it has turned snowy mountains into sand dunes. Several witnesses compared the scene to an apocalyptic scenario, or something that resembles the surface of Mars. Good luck, guys.
And next up, we've got our corporate control of the U.S. military. Folks, what did we just have in the news here in the last couple days? Weren't we just talking about the omnibus? Why did we have to have the omnibus? Well, think back. We had to have that because we needed to fund our military. But we caution from President Eisenhower's farewell address, where he stated, in the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwanted and unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military industrial complex. Potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. That being said, in the news today, a great little article out of Zero Hedge says how the military controls America. And in that article, a couple little profound little nuggets in there state because America, unlike Russia, privatized the weapons industry and even delegates to private mercenaries some of its battlefield killing and dying, there are, in America, profits for investors to make in invasions and in military occupations of foreign countries. And the billionaires who control these corporations can and do, and for their financial purposes, they must buy Congress and the president so as to keep those profits flowing to themselves. But that's the nature of the war business, since its markets are governments, but not those governments that the aristocracy want to overthrow and replace. Foreign governments that are to be overthrown are not markets. but are instead targets. Bloodshed and misery go to those unfortunate lands. But if you control these corporations, then you need those invasions and occupations, and you certainly aren't concerned about any of the victims who, unlike those profits, are irrelevant to your business. Check out the link below to read further. Over to you, Juniper.
Thanks, Beck. Next story up is CNN Airport's monopoly on travelers. So, should travelers be subjected to the hard left ideology of CNN? A lot of critics say no. So, what exactly is CNN Airport? It's a service that broadcasts general news, weather, stock market updates, and they do that in airports across the United States. CNN Airport is a subsidiary of Turner Private Networks, which is an offshoot of Turner Broadcasting System. And yep, you guessed it, its parent company is Time Warner. Monopoly. So basically, as it currently stands, guys, CNN Airport is broadcast in 59 US airports. That means airports are being paid to broadcast Mockingbird Media in over 2,000 boarding gates, reaching 30 million airport viewers annually. Now, according to Florida legislative documents, a minimum of $150,000 will go to Miami-Dade Aviation Department to exclusively air CNN. If that doesn't speak about monopoly, I don't know what does. So guys, if you think that CNN should be kicked out of airports, there's a petition circulating. And if you're so inclined, feel free to check it out. Next up is Missing Link with his op-ed.
Thanks for that, Juniper. My thoughts on the March for Our Lives. No matter what your opinion is about the March for Our Lives campaign, what we are seeing is the next generation finding their voices and taking a part in how their country develops. I think it's wonderful to see people taking back control of their country, no matter what age, views, and motives are. The First Amendment applies to everyone, regardless of age. These kids are pissed off, and I don't blame them. They're kids. The least they can expect from society is to be able to go to school without the threat of getting massacred by bad actors. And they're exposing a serious issue. By calling out the NRA Republican relationship, they are highlighting the systematic problem of politicians passing policies to appease their backers, with no thought of their constituents. This abuse of power and position happens within both parties and is a cancer that has to be cut out of democracy. And also, another story, Catalan separatist leader arrested in Germany, sparking mass protests. So Catalonia's former president, Carles Puigdemont, was arrested by German police as he crossed the border from Denmark to Germany. He had been living in self-imposed exile in Belgium post-independence referendum. And according to the authorities, the detention was based on a European warrant. Zero Hedge reports that many of the Catalonian independence leaders are in self-imposed exile or in jail, pending trial for rebellion. But the interesting thing about that, which is Julian Assange tweeted, and in his tweet, he basically shows the how it applied to Nazi Germany. That the same thing happened basically before the Nazi Germans started. And with that, I'll hand across to Spectre.
Very good. No voting for you. Pew Charitable Trust highlights a growing issue with our democracy. Because of the laws in 39 states, judges can remove the voting rights of adults with a host of mental and physical problems. Conditions varying from autism to Down syndrome to schizophrenia can be labeled as incompetent or mentally incapacitated. If the adult requires guardianship, even for physical reasons, a judge can also strip their voting rights. This raises new questions such as, should there be a minimum standard of mental capacity, or who should have final say in these types of decisions? Unfortunately, they are only vague answers, and plenty of them. Folks, I don't know about you, but this harkens back to our vets who come back from battle with PTSD, and guess what happens? Off with your Second Amendment rights. Stand up, folks. Be heard. Be loud. Tenacity, what can you tell us about Intel?
Thank you, Spectre. Well, in the news, we've had quite a bit of moving information. So this week, I would like to say that we've probably seen the largest intel dump that we've ever seen in history. What most don't know is that since the start of Donald Trump's presidency, he and his administration have been laser focused on building transparency and accessibility to various nooks and crannies of the U.S. government, as well as many vaults of secret information. Well, this week has not been an exception. We're not sure of all the anonymous sources, but we have confirmed large documents and data dumps coming to us, and also into various sources of independent sources and patriots on specific areas on the CIA, excuse me, and links to the FBI with cyber attacks on the United States. Also coming in, we have Facebook and links to NSA, SES, Serco, Las Vegas, 9/11, and as well some juicy stuff coming in from the NSA as well. With that, please look for future stories. If you saw our episode yesterday, we were covering the True Pundit. They're receiving a lot of information around the Las Vegas situation. So look for that in our upcoming episode.
And also a really cool story that's come out. Self-taught rocket scientist blasts off. And this is about Mad Mike Hughes, the rocket man, who believes the Earth is flat, propelled himself about 1,875 feet into the air Saturday before a hard landing in the Mojave Desert. And this guy's pretty cool. His next project, he wants to build a rockoon, which will be a rocket lifted up by a balloon, and he'll be planning to go 65 miles high. So he can once and for all tell us all whether the Earth is actually round or flat. So anyway, I'll hand off to Juniper.
Thanks, Link. Our next story is about rural hospitals still feeling the effects of Obamacare. So, according to a CNBC article, rural hospitals are closing, and it's been a steady decline ever since 2010. Oddly enough, 2010 was the same year that Obamacare was signed into law, and 83 rural hospitals have since closed. Now, that's nearly one hospital every month, guys. The closures leave older rural residents at risk via the absence of emergency services. It's reported that some folks have to travel 10 to 25 miles further in order to receive critical care. The problem rural hospitals face is twofold. Firstly, rural hospitals treat older patients who are on Medicare. Secondly, via Obamacare regulations, rural hospitals only recapture between 80% to 95% of what it costs to treat the patient. For instance, as Obamacare currently stands, if a Medicare patient goes into a hospital and is given $1,000 worth of treatment, the hospital loses between $50 to $200, and that's just for one patient. When that same rural hospital serves over 1,000 folks, it can easily lose $250,000 annually. So here are some links that you can check out in regards to hospital reimbursements. Now, this is a big deal, guys, because folks, with the closure of these hospitals, folks are not going to be able to get the services that they need. So hopefully legislators will kind of take the hint and repeal and replace. And Tenacity is up next with some information from Russia.
Thank you, Jennifer. So this is a big breaking story that we started the first thing this morning. The last news that we've received is so far 37 humans as well as 200 animals have been confirmed dead. Still out, there's dozens of children still missing and a growing death count after this tragic mall fire over in Russia. This morning, our first story, we found that on Sunday afternoon, according to preliminary reports, it started in the trampoline room of the mall's playground for the children. Firefighters have managed to set some 120 people out, and regional emergency ministry said 30 people were taken to local hospitals. In addition, some 200 animals of 25 species that lived in the mall's petting zoo have feared to be dead. I think they died of suffocation because they were the last to leave, and there were no other people left in the zoo. The facility director told TASS there was thick smoke on the third floor, and people were leaving in a panic by the side of the ladder. Excuse me, by a side ladder. There was no chance of the animals getting out. My apologies. This was very disturbing to me this morning. So we did follow up with that, some information in the afternoon. So as the day had rolled on, the rescuers continued to search the burned out shopping mall in the city of Quniverse. Many have been frantically trying to reach their relatives, including the children in the mall, in the cinema, and the play area where the fire had started. Some 37 people were killed in the blaze, and the Russian Investigative Committee has confirmed at least 11 children were among the victims. Amid conflicting reports, some have described the source of the fire as within the child's playground, suggesting that the trampoline there had caught fire after a child allegedly misused a lighter. Another version suggests that electrical wiring in the playground had short-circuited. Our hearts go out and prayers go out to the families and the victims of this terrible tragedy. So we will be keeping up with this story and let you know how it unfolds. And back to you, Juniper.
Thanks, Tenacity, for that story. So, guys, we need your help. Calling all patriots. Help, help, help. The staff here at Quniverse is looking for some interns to help us sort through the piles of information we've recently unearthed. We're looking for self-starters who can read sourced data and report on those findings. If you're on Discord, check out the Name and Shame server, and later we'll tell you exactly how to do that. And then if you're not on Discord, email us at iwanttohelp@devbytes.com. That's IWANTTOHELP at DEVBYTEZ.com, and then we'll be able to provide you with more information. Closing it out is iNet Coder, aka Bossman.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. First and foremost, I would like to outline some of the resources that we've used in collecting this paper today. Breitbart News, Conservative Treehouse, Daily Caller, Gateway Pundit, Hacker News, InfoWars. Also, Natural News, News Wars, Town Hall, True Pundit, YouTube, and Zero Hedge. And we've got a meme of the day, kind of funny, from Fabrizio Goria. It's pretty funny, so we kind of snuck it in there for you. Okay, and then the Patriot Partners I'd like to call out. We the People, 24/7 Patriot Soapbox. It's a 24/7 YouTube live stream. They're on every day, every hour. A lot of good information comes out of there, and they also do the decodes on the Q drops. And if you want to find out a little bit more about that, please go over there, click that link, and subscribe. Next, Coffee and Freedom. They're putting together a whole lot of different shows and different information. Please go check them out and subscribe to them as well. Our good friend Grant Torino out of Ireland, and he's also reporting on information over there across the pond. Of course, we have Dr. Jerome Corsi. He's a renowned author, and he also assists quite a bit at the 24/7 Patriot Soapbox for the QD codes. And if you do happen to be on Discord, please, these two links will get you into the Name and Shame server and the Internet Bill of Rights server. And finally, the staff. Okay, I'm iNet Coder. I'm a lifelong patriot technologist, and I've formed a group of individuals to bring you the clearest and most accurate news, both in the U.S. and abroad. We believe all in our Constitution and all other legal rights provided. We stand as one when we stand as all. First, Breaking Spectre. He's our resident Library of Congress on all things geopolitical, financial, health and wellness, and a lot more. Juniper is our resident RL journalist. Her reach is wide and her knowledge is deep. Redcourt is our in-house jack of all trades and mistress of none. She's our virtual office manager. We have the missing link. He's our international undercover reporter. We never know what truth gems he's going to find. And then Tenacity, our team's PM, OCD conductor and honest, hyperactive data chick. We also have Wolverine, deep nationalist patriot, military intel expert, and a true patriot warrior. So again, we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in to us, and we want to call out our fair use statement for the potential copyright material through this. So we just want you guys to know that we're not trying to step on no toes. So again, guys, we definitely appreciate your joining us today. And right now, what we're going to do is put together some more information and bring it right to you. So again, guys, till next time.